The release of two hostages is, of course, a very human story, but there's a lot of politics behind it. It might have been 50. Yesterday, there were credible reports that Qatar and the International Committee of the Red Cross had arranged for the release of 50 hostages with dual nationality. And it looked as if that deal was about to be implemented, and then suddenly it fell apart. And so Hamas released two elderly ladies last night, and that's been the story so far. But, of course, it indicates the fact that Hamas are playing politics with all of this. They're trying to engineer more and more releases of hostages that will get the Israelis to forestall their attack on Gaza, to put pressure on the outside world, the United States and other countries, to lean on Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and say, don't do it yet, we might get more hostages out. And the idea of getting 50 hostages out at once may be back on the table again within a day or so. We'll see. But the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, are pretty unhappy about all of this because they're making the point that they're ready to go. General Halevi, who's the chief of the general staff, he seems to have been saying in the war cabinet, look, we were ready to go over a week ago. If you don't give us the go order soon, we'll have to start to stand down. The fact is, when troops are ready to go, you can't just leave them to sit there because they gossip and they whinge and they complain and they worry about what they will face. And so the troops have to be kept busy with more and more exercises, more and more things to get them tensed up for what they're going to do. And you can only do that for so long. The IDF say we can only do this for another week or 2 weeks maximum before you tell us to go. So it's a real problem between the political pressure that Netanyahu is under and the problems of the IDF ready for their attack on Gaza. Meanwhile, on the West Bank, this crisis has other implications. The West Bank itself is a pretty big area compared to Gaza. 2.7, 2.8 million Palestinians live there, but among them, of course, are about 650, 660,000 Jewish settlers in 250 different settlements. All of those settlements are illegal in international law. 144 of them are legal in Israeli law, and at least 100 of them are illegal in anybody's law. And having 660,000 Israelis living among almost 3 million Palestinians is, of course, has always been, since 1967, a source of immense tension. And in East Jerusalem, 220,000 Israelis, settlers, live in East Jerusalem, and that is a tinderbox. And so while our attention, of course, is on what is happening in the Gaza Strip, the fact is that what is going on in the West Bank is deeply worrying. Since the start of this crisis, almost 100 Palestinians have been killed in nightly outbreaks of unrest and shooting and so on. And so while we wait for the Israeli offensive in Gaza, we must keep our eyes on the West Bank because there the situation is not getting any better.